Hey, podcast listeners, I'm Gabe.
And I'm Nick.
And we host the Facing Off podcast, and we are inviting you to give our podcast a listen.
On Facing Off, Gabe and I take two movies we find to be similar, and we compare, contrast, and rate them in our own unique way. We pair movies across all genres. As long as there's a common thread between the two movies, we'll face them off. We also give these movies awards at the end of the episode. Sometimes we even rank our favorite movies based on some specific criteria.
So, after finishing this podcast, please go and listen to Facing Off, which can be found on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts simply by searching for Facing Off. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter by looking up Facing Off Pod.
Podcast is all very scientific. We don't have time to get into it right now.
I guess you'll just have to listen to find out.
I guess so.
Welcome to the trailer for What the Suck podcast. Do you like movies?
Do you like horror movies?
You know, movies like Exorcist 2 and The Bye Bye Man.
Well, those of you still with us are just the weirdos we want.
We watch all the terrible, no good, so bad they are bad movies you never knew existed.
Have you seen Wish Upon, I Am Zozo, Creepshow 3 perhaps? You haven't? Well, lucky for you, we have, and we are here to tell you all about them because we believe that no matter how bad a movie is, it should be watched. Someone put at least some effort into these, and bad movies deserve love too.
And boy, do we love watching them. So, please join us, your hosts Chris and James, on What the Suck podcast for a weekly discussion of all things bad, good, good, bad, 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 so bad they are good, so good they are bad, so bad they are bad, and Gary Busey.
That's my best Busey. I don't know if that works, but
it works for me. Found everywhere podcasts can be listened to.
Today we're looking at National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, a 1989 family comedy. It's the third instalment in the National Lampoon's Vacation series and was written by John Hughes, based on his short story in the National Lampoon magazine. The plot follows Clark Griswold, who wants to have a perfect family Christmas. However, things start to go awry quickly with an unexpected visit from his family.
Hello, welcome back to the Christmas and Chill podcast. Holy crap, we've done 11 episodes. I'm Josh. You're here with Amy and Maddie. Good evening, ladies. How are we?
I think starting out the podcast with a swear word isn't very good, Joshua.
All right, let me try it again. Good gracious. Let me try that again. Mother episode 11.
You're going to have to put an explicit sign on this.
That's all right. I'm going to beep all of these.
Okay.
Mother episode 11. How are we, people?
Oh, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Those beeps are going to be great, I tell you what.
Oh, my God.
Amy, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I finished my final day of placement today, so I'm very excited.
Hey, congratulations.
I have to now adult, which I don't really want to do, but...
Yeah, that's the worst part, right?
Adulting is hard, right?
Yeah, it is. And I don't want to.
It's not ideal. Yeah. It's it does not. It's not something I want to do. It's not something I enjoy doing.
No, I'd much rather be a child and enjoy Christmas like a child than enjoy Christmas like an adult.
If you're a child, then Santa comes for you still.
Yeah, exactly.
fair,
fucking right.
As an adult, I can kind of do whatever the hell I want to do. So that's kind of good.
It's true. You take as many naps as an adult as you do as a child, don't you?
I wish. I wish I took more naps. Oh, man. Speaking of not napping, because this movie was definitely not worth napping through, this evening we watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
We did.
What do we think of the movie, guys?
It's a good 80s staple, isn't it?
Yes, it was very good.
Have we all seen the movie before?
I feel like, for me, I can't remember which movie it was, but Maddie was saying, like, I think it was for Home Alone 2. Or maybe it was, or something like that, where you said, like, this movie, you always see the start on Christmas Day, but you've never watched the whole thing. That was this movie for me. Like, I was like, I swear I'd never watched this movie before. I saw the start and I was like, wait, maybe I have. And then I kept watching it and I was like, wait, no, I haven't. I've just seen the start of it.
Because they play it on channel 9 or 7 and then they put ads all the way through. So you're like, okay, bedtime because it's 10 o'clock and we're not even halfway.
Yeah, very true. I haven't seen this movie before, so this is the first time watching it through for me in any way, shape or form. And I really liked it.
Have you guys seen the National Lampoon's Vacations?
I've seen the first one.
Which one's that? The Wally World one?
Yeah, I think so.
Or the European Vacation.
One,
I can't remember.
I've seen the Wally World one. That's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
But
they've got nothing to do with Christmas. I mean, this is the only Christmas one.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, I guess it would be impossible to talk about this movie if we didn't talk about Chevy Chase. How good is Chevy Chase? Do we like Chevy Chase in this movie? What do you reckon?
Clark Griswold is just Chevy Chase, I think. I don't see a difference in character.
Yeah, there's not a great deal of difference, is there?
What
do you think, Amy? Do you like Chevy Chase?
I'm trying to find my fun fact right now.
Amy, you should have this organised.
All right, no, we'll come back to that. Maddie, what do you think of Chevy?
Being such a big fan of Community, it's hard to see him as anyone but Pierce Hawthorne.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. My biggest exposure to Chevy Chase has been through Community. So when I go back and watch his old stuff, or I guess the stuff he's best known for, it's hard not to see Pierce. But I also think that Chevy I think he carries the movie in a lot of ways.
I mean, he's the main character.
He is the main character, but he's also like the source of all the comedy.
All the slapstick and all the hijinks.
He definitely goes crazy.
Oh, that was brilliant when he loses it. That was fantastic. Man, how he memorized that insult speech was incredible. The amount of insults he gave that boss, man.
His character doesn't have a arc, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think he did have a redemption arc because, like to be honest, what was the story? What happened?
Yep.
like you know what I mean? Like
it's about his family coming together, but everything that happens to his family is a disaster.
I mean, I'll be honest and say that I wasn't paying full attention to the start of the movie because I was trying to cut down words in my assignment. But I felt like even from the point where I did watch it, I was still like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, like what was the plot? What was the story? What was the point of everything that kind of happened, you know? Like I get it, the family came over, they had some dinner, end of movie. Like you know what I mean? Like what happened? What was the purpose?
Was it kind of the show that Christmas doesn't always go to plan? Like, is it to show that, because a lot of them, I mean, I guess not really in Christmas movie, there's always a problem. But, like, I was going to say, a lot of the time you see when family come over, it's like, oh, all happy and cheery and stuff. Maybe this movie was supposed to represent that. It's not always good.
Yeah.
Kind of like Daddy's Home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually interesting that we're watching those back to back because, yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities between the two because it's all about family, right? Like that's the driver of the movie. Maddie, what do you think? Like you mentioned that the idea of a redemption arc for Clark, that I guess being that that's not a redemption arc. Why do you think that is? Like what do you think the story is?
I actually don't know. The only person who had a redemption arc was his boss. But even that was a bit of a weak redemption line.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. But yeah, maybe the boss.
Like the characters didn't grow.
Yeah.
And also,
There's
like,
no growth.
like even their neighbors were like wusses. Like, when you'd think that they'd like go over and like complain from the first issue that popped up, but they didn't do anything.
Yeah. Speaking of the neighbours, I forgot, or I didn't know that Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in this movie. She's fantastic in everything that she does.
is.
Yeah, she is.
She's very funny. The neighbours. It was an interesting addition to the movie. I get it was like the whole like everything we do good, the neighbours just keep mucking it up for us. Like it, you know what I mean? Like that whole trope. Was it
Is that
necessary?
supposed to make Clark look like a bit of a goofball? Do you think?
Doesn't he always look like a goofball though?
Well, yeah, but do you think the inclusion of the neighbours was to do that?
I guess potentially maybe to accentuate it. What do you think, Amy? Why do you think the neighbours were included? Do you have any ideas or thoughts?
I feel like maybe what Maddie says, they tried to, I think, but some part of me, I mean, he did look like a goofball and everything, but also at the same time, I feel like it didn't always work because they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, I would have thought that if you were so like good and cool and stuff, that you would actually go over and do something about it.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. The one part of the movie that stood out to me was a scene where they were eating all the really, really dry chicken and they were all just around the table. Turkey, sorry. And they were just sitting around the table and it was just the chewing noises. Like, how gross is that? But I don't know why. Like, of all the scenes in the movie, that's the one I think I'm going to remember the most.
Isn't that such a thing? You know, when you get annoyed with your family because you can hear them chewing too loudly or chewing gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like that? Like your family like around the dinner table? Just shut up.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it is.
Is it supposed to show the flaws in the family?
There's a lot of flaws in the family.
Definitely. One called Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie was great. Like Randy Quaid, he's quite funny. But yeah, I feel like Cousin Eddie is a bit of a rushed plot point. I don't know. He comes in like about halfway through the movie. And I get like I don't know how you pad him out because there's not a lot of substance that he actually brings. He just brings a lot more kind of laughs. But I don't know. What do you guys think of Cousin Eddie?
I think he acts as a comic relief almost. That relative you can make fun of. That relative that's not quite as good as you.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think he was funny, Amy? Do you enjoy his character?
I feel like he wasn't there a lot. I mean, as I said, I didn't really watch some of the movie, but I felt like at the end, when he was getting the boss, he disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He just kind of went, didn't he? You're not wrong.
Didn't he like come back and then go again?
Yeah.
Or I just imagining that?
Yeah? Oh, wait, yeah, did he? I'm not sure. I know he definitely went and got the boss.
As soon as Clark said what he said, he was right off to get the boss.
That's what it was. Yeah. Look, I thought the whole family dynamic is definitely the main kind of theme of this. Speaking of the family dynamic, though, there were a lot of old people in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the movies that we've watched, like it's mainly around the kids. But this movie was the opposite. It wasn't really based around the kids in any way. They were just kind of there. It was actually based around the parents and the grandparents. I'm
trying to think if any of the movies so far we've watched have actually had grandparents in it.
Yeah.
Yesterday's.
Yeah, Daddy's Home too, I guess.
Oh, yes.
But not many others, though.
That slipped my mind.
I can't think of any others.
Yeah, not many others.
And it wasn't like there were just one or two grandparents. Like, there were a lot of old people in this movie. What do you think that is? It was like, was that something you guys picked up? Do you think that's an interesting choice? Am I pointing out nothing? Like, what do you think?
Old people, I don't know. Is that funny? Are they more likely to do funny stuff? Like, obviously, wrapping the cat up and giving that as a present because she didn't get a present for them and just put the cat in the box. Obviously, that's a standout funny moment because you can make fun of the elderly and dementia, apparently.
Is it, yeah, so is it maybe like they put the old people in there as a catalyst for a lot of the jokes and a lot of the comedy?
Maybe.
Yeah. Or could it be like they're saying that the time of year when we see our old people is at Christmas time?
Yeah. And the rest of the year we push them into a home. How Christmassy is this movie?
Well, I don't know if you guys noticed a couple of things that I noticed. Rusty watching It's a Wonderful Life on the TV.
Yes, I did. Once again, that goddamn movie keeps getting brought up.
And it's the only Christmas part in the movie that they put it on as well, which was the bell. And whenever
The bell
a
at the
bell
end.
rings, the angel gets its wings.
So they just put the last 30 seconds
Yeah,
of the
because
film
that's the only part that's Christmas. So they were like, yeah,
Yikes.
we've got to put a Christmas movie on and the only bit's at the end, so we'll just play that bit.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that because I've been roasting Luke too hard, but yes, correct. The other thing I noticed was how influenced Deck the Halls was by this movie.
Wow, yeah, that's a really good point.
All the Christmas lights, I mean, that's a big part of Christmas, but all the hijinks with the Christmas lights, the advent calendar that he had, he would turn it every day for a day in December.
Yes,
and that
I was thinking
quite
that
like
too.
in Deck the Halls.
Yeah.
So I think they may have drew some inspiration from it. Was there singing in this movie? I can't remember.
Singing?
Yeah.
There was... Hang on, was there? I know
know
there
there
was carols in the background.
Yeah, background, but I don't think anyone actually sung.
Sung, yeah. What was with... just saying that. What was with Chevy and the girl, the perfume counter girl? What was those scenes
That
about?
was weird, man. Like, he seems so happy with his family, like
Yeah.
immediate
Yeah.
family. And then all of a sudden he's, like, dreaming of this woman. Is this supposed to be like every male's fantasy is
But
some...
why did we need to actually see her basically get
Naked.
nude? Like, what was that? Like,
I think it's a product of its time, right?
Yeah.
It's a Chevy Chase movie. He's a bit fucked.
it was... Yeah,
Let's be honest.
I was so much like, all right, cool, I get it. We could have probably stopped this scene 5 minutes ago, but we're still going with this suggestively taking off their clothes.
Yeah, it was interesting. But I think that's just a product of its time.
Yeah, that's
It's very
fair.
male gazy, isn't it?
And yeah, if Chevy Chase is in it, then I feel like that could probably have something to do with it. Something we picked up right at the very start of the film, and I'm going to throw this to you, Maddie, because I know this is going to be your niche point here. The music was written by, I'm going to butcher his name, Angelo Badalamenti, who did the music for
my
Twin
man.
Peaks. He wrote Laura's
It's
theme.
interesting that he's done all the ethereal whooshing music for Twin Peaks, and then he's doing all the Christmas carols for this movie. He can do anything, that man.
with the songs. So I was not familiar with a lot of the music in this movie. Were they were a lot of the carols written for this movie, or were they just happened to be carols that were inserted into this?
I think the first song at the start,
The one about vacation
may
and
have been.
stuff.
Yes. I wanted to bring something up because you're talking about opening titles. A lot of Christmas movies show the opening credits at the start.
Yes,
So, like,
and it's so long.
well, that's such an old school Hollywood movie thing. You know what I mean? Like, to show all the names and all the crew and cast. So it's interesting that a lot of Christmas movies now follow that tradition.
Yeah, that's very true.
Or am I just looking too much into it?
No, you're not.
No, I think it's a good point because, I definitely noticed the introduction took a long time to get into.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I say to Mum I've said it twice now. I'm like, I hate it when they have all the credit stuff at the start.
Don't be rude, Amy. You have to pay the respect to the crew.
It's it's brilliant. And then I think the other person that I thought I'd bring up was Johnny Galecki, the kid.
Leonard.
Leonard from Big Bang Theory. It was. I was not expecting to see kid Johnny Galecki in this movie.
He's a cute kid, isn't he?
Yeah, what happened? No.
The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, dear. It's a shame. I kind of wished he was in the movie more, to be honest.
Yeah.
I guess that
He
comes
was
back
good.
to, my thoughts on
It's
the fact that we
definitely
have a
focused
Christmas
on
movie
Chevy
where the
Chase's
kids aren't
character.
central. And that's kind of odd. It's weird.
Hello?
If we were characters from this movie, who would we be?
Josh is the old grandpa's napping while watching TV.
Mate, I'm pretty okay with that.
I know who he'd be.
This might be the hardest movie to assign characters for.
Yeah.
Hardest one so far.
Part of me feels like I'm
Julia
Ruby Sue.
No.
And she's like, I'm shitting bricks.
Oh, man, that was... I'm sorry, shitting rocks.
You can't say that word. Oh, I'm sorry, shitting rocks.
Maddie, I feel like you're Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character.
Oh, really? Why?
Just because you punch a guy in the face. That's...
I've never punched a guy in the face. I wish.
I can see you doing it, though. Amy, I feel like you'd be the mum.
Yeah. Has to put up with some
You know what I
bullshit.
mean? Yeah.
The calm, level-headed one.
For some, I was thinking the same thing. So
Does that mean Luke is
I was
Clark
going to say,
Oh
Griswold?
my
Luke would have
God.
to be Chevy then.
Don't bury your face in your hands.
I don't think he'd get cheerful enough to be that.
Oh. Speaking of Luke, should we add his little part in here?
Yeah, let's chuck it in right now.
Hello, Christmas family. It's Luke. You know what? I'm going to start calling you all the Christmas family because I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, we are going to talk about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I had never seen this movie before, but this one I found very, very funny. Chevy Chase was really, really good. I'm not personally a fan of his later work, but I really liked him in this movie. But there's a lot of actors and actresses that I didn't even know that were in this movie until I looked it up later. But with this movie, I felt that the comedy was really good. The slapstick was really funny. Everyone was there at the end to be together as a family. And I think that celebrates the idea of Christmas really, really well. I really, really enjoyed it. If I was going to give it a number of Santa hats out of 10, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I'd watch it again. I think it does the Christmas stuff really well, and the comedy's funny, and I'll see you guys later.
Luke, mate, we've talked about this. You have to stop dropping F-bombs. I can't keep cutting them out. You sent us through 20 minutes worth of content. I've only used a minute. That was appalling, mate. You have to stop.
Should we rank the movie?
Yeah, sure.
I went with Josh last night, so
Oh,
I'll go
no.
back to Amy.
I always
Hello,
like to
boss.
hear
Meow.
other people's score first before mine, so then I can judge to see if I've got a good score or not.
Hey, if Luke can give Daddy's Home a 1, I think you can make your mind up about what this movie is. I'm going to ask you, Amy, how many Christmas hats would you give this movie out of 10?
I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Because, yeah, I like it was Christmassy, and it was I got into the mood, and it was funny and everything, but there was a lot going on.
Yeah. It's I'm going to jump in. I'm actually also going to give this movie a 6. I think I like the movie, and I like Chevy Chase, but There was a whole lack of plot, and the whole flipping of the story where there's more focus on the elderly than the children was kind of odd for me. So I thought it was funny, but if I'm looking at it through a Christmas lens, I'm giving it a 6. What about you, Mads?
Yeah, I'm also going to give it a 6. You guys read my mind. I'm just like thinking about it now. Like, I remember watching this movie when I was younger and thinking it was so much funnier than it is. Like, I think if you're a child of like the 80s, I think it's a lot funnier. Like, my dad was quoting it, wasn't he, Josh?
Yeah, he
like,
was.
He kept coming in to watch the movie and quoting it, but like, oh yeah, this part's so funny, this part. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Well, my dad's the same. Like, he didn't watch it with me tonight, but before he left, he was like, oh, that's a good movie. You're going to love it.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe like it's a very 80s movie. So maybe that's...
Yeah, that's
part
maybe
of it.
we don't understand 80s humour as much as others.
He said it might have aged now, but it was a good movie, he said.
Yeah, right.
It's aged okay, but not the best. Especially those parts with the woman in the bikini and
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Nice. Good work.
Did you find a fun fact yet, Amy?
Yeah, I did.
Well, that's good. Should we cut to Josh's joke first? Because that'll be lackluster. I think we should end on a high.
Look, hey, so day 2 of Josh writing a joke for the podcast. Realised writing jokes is really hard. So it's going to be fun for the next 14 episodes, but we'll see how we go. So I have written a joke, and I'm quite proud of it. It's a nice quick one.
Jesus, here we go.
Guys, who helps Santa bring pleasure to men all across the world?
What the fuck? I don't know.
His ho-ho-hos.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus, no. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
You disgust me.
I was inspired by Chevy and the woman from the perfume counter. They say you take inspiration from the things around you. Well, yes, that was... I think that's what the kids call a slam dunk.
Your streets ahead, Josh.
Yeah, streets ahead. Oh, that was really good. Yeah, that's my joke. See you tomorrow.
all right.
Amy, please salvage this podcast.
Okay, my fun fact of the day is that apparently the... wait a second. I'm already destroying it. No. 2 weeks before Christmas is the second most popular time for people to break up with their partners.
Oh my guys, it's 2 weeks
really?
before Christmas.
Oh.
Josh, you're dumped. See you later, punk.
Jeez.
I actually just realised it is... How did I do that? I did not plan that for her.
It's
you're
exactly
psychic.
2 weeks, isn't it? It's exactly
You.
2 weeks before Christmas. Far out. I wonder why that is. What do you reckon? It's like, oh shit, I haven't bought them a present yet. Oh, if I go any further, I actually have to buy them something. Like, do you reckon it's based around that?
I have broken up with a boyfriend before Christmas. It wasn't 2 weeks before. It was
So did I.
actually the week before. And the reason why I did it...
A week before? You're a monster.
It's even better. A
The
week
reason
before.
why is because I didn't want him... Well, I mean... No, actually, I was going to save it for after Christmas because I was like, I don't want to make him sad on Christmas.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of ghosting him, and then he messaged me and was like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, I'm just going to have to break up with you.
You texted him that, Amy.
No, I didn't text. I rang him. But the only reason I rang him was because he was in Geelong, and I was like, I don't want to travel all the way to Geelong to break up with you.
Hang on, wait.
Wow, that is... I'm not going to fucking Geelong.
That's brilliant.
I
That's
also
pretty
dumped
great.
someone, but I think they were 3 weeks before Christmas, which in turn was a week before their birthday. So that's embarrassing.
And you go
man.
off at me for a week before Christmas.
It was also his 21st birthday.
Oh, dude, what are you
I
doing?
mean, I was going to hold out and do it afterwards, but I was like, nah, just rip the Band-Aid, man. Good times. If you're listening, I hope you're enjoying the podcast.
If you're in a relationship and are worried that you are going to get dumped, or conversely, if you want to dump someone,
We'll do it for you.
please
Just
fill us
send
in.
a message.
Let us know. We can talk you through it.
Yeah, just
Mel,
send us a mailbag.
We'll dump 'em
and
for
then
you.
we will break up with the significant other
We'll give
through
it to
the podcast.
guys,
to do.
do you reckon there's money? Maybe there's something in this. Maybe we can start a service where we
my
dump people on other people's behalf.
You know, there's a movie like that.
Yes, there
about
is.
that.
Is there?
It's a Kiwi movie, I'm pretty sure. It's pretty good. It's really funny.
Anything in the
interesting.
mailbag today, Joshua?
Well, yes, there's a couple of things in the
couple
mailbag
of
today.
things.
Not so much questions, but we have been receiving a bunch of comments from people reaching out and saying that they've really enjoyed listening to the podcast,
Wow.
which has actually been really lovely. And I thought I'd read out two, a really nice comment and then something a bit more funny. So
Okay.
we did get a comment from Rachel McKenzie on Instagram. She said, I love the podcast. It's getting me through this weird Christmas season. I appreciate the custom episode artwork for
Yeah,
each
boy.
episode. Maddie, that's you, mate.
Photoshop
So
should be on my resume.
good work. She said, keep it up. Thanks. So thank you, Rachel.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for sending that in. That's not the first comment that we've had on the episode artwork. There's actually a comment on Instagram as well on yesterday's post of someone being like, oh, God, no, what is this editing? Something along those lines. I can't remember it.
What did I do? I can't remember.
It was fantastic. But yes, so thank you, Rachel. Now this other one I'm going to read out because I don't know if you know this, guys, but I feel like we've been sought out by a Nigerian prince, and I really think I wanted to do this off air, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to bring this to the table on the podcast. We're going to have a team meeting because I really think there's an opportunity here for us to go global, to really
I'm
make
ready.
millions, all right? So I'm just... Now, I couldn't copy the whole message onto the podcast because we'd be here for a while. But I took the crux of the email, okay? So I'm going to start off. So basically, he's just said hello and asked us if he would, if we would like him to help us become a successful
Absolutely.
podcast. He writes... New audience always become addicted to top-ranking podcast. I will help your podcast to introduce with more targeted audiences. Our show is syndicated on internet stations to a weekly audience of around 40,000 listeners.
Wow.
We have listened in iTunes for over 1 year. I am taking $300 for 30 days to provide this service. So can you please send me an order?
I was going to
Guys, I
say, that
think we
sounds
should do it.
great. That's a lot of people.
I think that's a good deal.
Also, for English not being a first language, that's pretty well done.
Maybe that's why my mum's been getting scam calls.
Maybe it's just this Nigerian prince reaching out, wanting to, reach out and
I
get
don't
some
know
success.
about you guys, but that sounds wonderful.
So I think we'll talk about that more off the podcast because I think
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think definitely we need to get him $300 as soon as possible. I think that's really important for us. And if you would like to
Give us
you-
the
Send us
$300.
if you would like to make business suggestions for us, if you're a Nigerian prince and would like to contact us, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. Drop us a mailbag. That's mailbag.christmasandchill@gmail.com. You can also message us on Facebook or Instagram at Christmas and Chill Podcast. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review or a review of any kind. But 5-star review, please. That'd be really good. Really helps us spread our wings and kind of share what we're doing with lots of people. Tomorrow, what are we watching tomorrow night, guys?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, cool. This will be a bit of a good one, a bit of a Halloween Christmas movie.
Yes.
Should be good. Before we finish up, guys, is there anything else you'd like to go over? Anything else you want to say?
Oh, I would like to say that over these past 11 days, we've reached over 220 listeners, and that's freaking awesome.
That is amazing.
And I'm just thankful for everyone who's listened. Like, even if you just click it and click off, like, we don't care. Just the love and even thought of putting on our podcast is just crazy and unbelievable to us.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's definitely taken off
We're
in ways.
sending you all the Christmas love.
Yes.
That's it. And it's taken off in ways we never thought was possible. So thank you. And look, we've still got a lot of episodes to go. So we're not slowing down anytime soon. Thanks so much for listening, guys. And yes, if you are that Nigerian prince listening, send me your bank details so I can send you $300. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.